Welcome to Seamless. I have never taught a Bible study via video, so this is a first for me. There may be some hiccups, and I apologize, but we'll try to get through it as best we can. So I want to tell you a little bit about Seamless. Seamless is the first Bible study that I ever did, that I actually ever taught. I did it with a group of women. I had never done it before. I love Seamless because it tells the Bible as one complete story. There are several books of the Bible, and there are several that tell the same story. They're just told by somebody different. So it also doesn't follow chronological order, so it made it a little difficult for me whenever I first started reading the Bible a couple of years ago to understand what was going on. But Seamless really helped kind of put it all together and tell it as one whole story. So I really, really liked Seamless. And I had the opportunity to meet Angie Smith, the author of Seamless, a few years ago, and she is just a great lady. And if you ever get the opportunity to go see her and listen to her speak, she has a really awesome story that would bring you to tears of how she got to where she is. So anyway, we'll start at week 1. Basically the first couple of pages just kind of tell how the book works, and it asks some pretty tough questions. The session 1 and the introduction asks some pretty tough questions. I encourage you to be very honest when you answer these questions. This is between you and God. Nobody is going to see this but you. If you want to talk about some of your answers with me, I'd be happy to meet with you privately. You can call me and text me. We can go out for coffee or lunch or whatever you're comfortable with. But I really do encourage you to be honest, because this is your walk with God and your relationship with Him. And if you want that to grow, the only way to do that is to be honest. So day 1, again, it just kind of tells how the book works and what all the little things, the pictures on the bottom of the page mean, just to kind of help you remember where you are in the story. So I'm actually going to start on day 2. That's when the lesson actually starts. So day 2 starts with the creation, which is Genesis in the Bible. God created everything. He created the light and dark, sky and the heaven, earth and seas, sun, moon and stars, birds, fish, land, animals, humans, and then on the 7th day He rested. So I'm not going to really talk a whole lot about what you're going to read, because that's going to be up to you to read it. I am going to give you some things that aren't necessarily in the Bible study, that are just some things that are kind of cool to know, because I want you to read it. I want you to read this, and I want you to get in the Word and figure out what it means to you. I don't want to read it to you, but there are some things that I want you to know. So on the 7th day, God rested. Genesis chapter 1 is all about creation, everything that God created, okay? On the 7th day, He rested, and He called this day holy. He called it the Sabbath day. He actually made it one of His commandments that we are to keep the Sabbath day. There's a reason for that. We are supposed to take a Sabbath day in our little 7-day period, and that is really no work, but it doesn't mean no work at all. You can do things that help restore and renew your soul. Like if you like to, crochet. That doesn't mean that you can't crochet on that day. That means that you need to do something that renews your spirit. Now, whether it's going to church, listening to worship music, just taking a family day, whatever. That's what the Sabbath day is really all about. It's just a day that you take to renew yourself spiritually, get close to God, pray, and you keep that Sabbath day holy. Genesis 2 actually is day 6 in the whole 7-day period. The beginning of Genesis 2 kind of goes back to the day that God created Adam. So God actually formed everything, all of the animals, plants, all of the earth, basically out of dirt, okay? We're all made out of dirt and water. Our genetic makeups we're all made out of the same elements, but God has put them together in a way that makes us unique. Species are unique, but we're all made out of the same thing. What makes us special as humans is God created us in his image. So he made Adam, but in Genesis 2:7, I think. Let me find it. Yeah, Genesis 2:7. Then the Lord formed the man out of the dust from the ground and breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, and the man became a living being. So Adam was there, he was created, but he wasn't a living, breathing being until God breathed the breath of life into him. So what's really cool is that the Bible is also God breathed. In 2 Timothy, it says that all scripture is God breathed. So the breath that fills us and that has made us alive is also the same breath that has made the Bible alive. That's why this is called the living word. The Bible can apply to anything that you have going on in your life right now. That's what's so great about it. It's not necessarily that the words change, but the meaning and the text kind of change to whatever you have going on in your life. So it's really, really cool. God created the most complex thing in human history. He made a person, which is really crazy to me. So he had created Eden as this beautiful, perfect garden, and he had this man, Adam, and he gave him 3 gifts. Genesis 2:15, the first gift was he gave Adam the gift of work. I know we think in the Garden of Eden that we're not supposed to work, that it's perfect, but if we don't have a purpose, then we don't really have a life, basically. So God gave Adam control over everything in Eden, and he was like, I'm giving this to you to work it, to tend it, to make it grow. This is your purpose. Your purpose is to work and to do this. And Adam was happy with that. The second gift that he gave him was in Genesis 2:16. He gave Adam, us, the gift of will. God gives us direction and instructions. It is up to us to freely follow that. It is, he just wants our heart. He doesn't want little soldiers. If he wanted little soldiers to do whatever he said, then he would not have given us free will. He wants us to love him and to follow him freely with our whole heart. And then in Genesis 2:18, we see the first problem. Adam was lonely, and so God created someone to help Adam, someone to help him in the garden and to help him take care of all of these things. God created women. Women, we are the first solution to the first problem in the Bible. It's pretty awesome. So God gave Eve to Adam, but not in a way that you like give a kid a toy. She was a blessing to him. So God gave Adam this blessing of a partner, of a spouse, of a marriage, of someone that he can build a life with. So anyway, that was really neat. I thought that was cool. Our little Eve, she had some trust issues. I'm not sure why. You're living in a perfect world, in a perfect place that was created by a perfect God. All of this is the only story in the Bible that takes place before sin occurred. So when I say it's perfect, it is perfect. There is nothing wrong with this place. There's no mosquitoes. There's no violence. There's no hatred. There's no lies. There's no nothing. They're walking around naked as jaybirds, just as happy as they could possibly be. Pretty perfect place. And then Satan. So Satan shows up and he slithers his little way over there. There were some instructions that God had given to Adam in the beginning. Said, you can have anything in here. Everything belongs to you. Whatever you want. It's totally cool. Just don't eat the fruit off of that one tree. That's it. Just don't do that one thing. Okay. So the devil, the way he gets us every time is he doesn't rebuke what God says, because he can't. He's an angel. He can't rebuke what God says. He twists things to make us doubt. And once he plants that seed of doubt, that's when we get into trouble. And that's exactly what happened. So he asked Eve, did God really say that you would die? Well, actually, he really did say that. He really said that you couldn't do that or you would die. But what God was talking about, it wasn't like a physical death. It was a spiritual death. It was, you can eat that fruit. You have the free will, but I'm just telling you what the consequences are if you do so. So the consequences of being disobedient was spiritual death. And whenever she ate the apple and then gave it to her husband, which still blows my mind that he stood there and just let her do it. Anyway, I'm getting off subject. That's when sin occurred. That is what we call the fall of man. And that one moment of being disobedient is what we pay for to this day. The world that we live in is broken and it's fallen because of this one moment that has basically destroyed our perfect world. This world that we live in, with the hate and the sickness and the controversy, this is not the world that God created for us. This was not what he meant it to be. He meant it to be Eden. He meant for it to be perfect. He meant for us to live in harmony and for us to work and to have free will and to love him and to follow him and be obedient to him. And he would bless our lives. And then she ate the apple. And Adam did too. I just don't get it. But anyway, that's how the devil still works today. He plants that little seed of doubt. He doesn't show up in a little red suit with a pitchfork with horns. It's just little seeds of doubt that get planted in your mind to help destroy marriages and relationships and friendships. And it's that little bitty seed of discontent where you get what's the word I'm looking for? Offended about something. And the more you dwell on it and the more you let it go, that's the devil. That's the devil that is wanting you to be unhappy and to be angry and to be distrustful. And that's how he works. He has been doing this literally since the beginning of time because it works and we let him. So it's crazy. So the disobedient resulted in the separation from God. Here's the thing. I have a problem with obedience. It's something that I am working on. Adam and Eve really screwed it up for the rest of us, but at the time, in their sin and in their disobedience, they had no idea that this was going to affect the rest of the world. So I don't want my sin and my disobedience to affect my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren for generations to come. So that's the whole point of this Bible study, is to get into the Word, get closer to God, to hear Him above all of the noise, and to make sure that we don't make the mistakes that our forefathers have made. We're sinners. We're going to sin. He knows. But we can always strive to be better. So I really hope that you guys like day 1 and 2. I'm going to go over day 3 and I'll do another video and post it shortly. But you guys read it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to talk to you. If you need me, let me know. I'll see you later. Bye.